2 things you must fix before your next bulk, or you're just gonna get fat again. Because I know you've tried bulking before, mate. I know that you've stocked up on peanut butter and jam and put it between a bagel, and you've just thought, right, if I just eat all the food in the world and start gaining weight and kind of just go to the gym like 3, 4 times a week, I'm gonna get massive. But then 3 months later, you pull up your stomach and you go, why do I look like a dropped ice cream? Why is my stomach coming over my shorts? Why can't I fit into any of my clothes? Why are my nipples inverting? I'm going to be bulking and getting massive. So then you panic and go, right, well, I'm just going to slash all these calories in half. I'm going to start myself. I might even do some cardio just to get all this minging fat off. And then when you drop the fat and get a little bit leaner, you think, oh shit, I have got no muscle. I didn't build anything. And now that bulk was another failed one on the pile of all the failed bulks I've ever done. That's not how it needs to be, mate. And this video is going to give you the 2 things that you need to fix before you go on your next bulk. And it's the 2 things that I make sure all of my clients have in place before they go and build loads of size like this. If you don't know it yet, I am the hardest man in this, and I coach lads through their first ever bulks so that they don't get fat and so that they do actually build muscle. I've failed 3 bulks myself. I've been in that cycle of skinny, feeling weak and pathetic. I'm going to put on loads of muscle, but I just got fat in the meantime. Oh God, now I'm fat and depressed. Now I'm going to cut it all off. Oh no, now I'm still skinny again. And it bothered me that much, mate, that I left my £40,000 a year engineering job to start a coaching business to help lads do what I've done and now put on muscle and record free content to give to you. I can tell you exactly why you're failing, mate, because I've lived it and I'm helping people through it right now. And that's why before we start and get into the 2 things, mate, I am giving you my shredded without skinny calculator that actually fixes the first thing I'm going to tell you. From this video straight away, you can just download the spreadsheet that will give you the macros, the protein, the steps that you need to follow to get shredded, to get lean, to make sure that your next bulk doesn't make you fat. You can literally have it within 30 seconds by going to the link in my description, following it, putting your details in, and it'll be in your inbox, mate. It took me 5 years to figure this stuff out. You can have it now. But now these are the 2 things that you need to have in place before you even think about bulking and building muscle, starting with numero uno. Before you even think about putting your calories up, before you even think about adding some peanut butter to your smoothie in the morning, before you even think about, do you know what, I can have 1 more pint because I need the calories anyway, you need to make sure that you're not carrying too much body fat. Because right now, what you're doing is you're just eating whatever in sight. You're just going about uncontrolled, thinking, well, if I need the calories, the best thing to do is just eat everything, right? Even if you're eating 2,500 calories in a surplus, the extra 500 that you don't track is good because it just means you're going to have more calories and more bulk. Before you know it, you're fat, you're out of shape, you're not liking how you look, you're meant to be building muscle, you're meant to be looking better, then all of a sudden you look worse, and all these body confidence issues that you've got around being too fat and having no muscle are just exacerbated because you're just putting fat on. And it leaves you feeling worse off because you actually think that you're doing the things right that you're supposed to be doing to build a muscle, but you're not looking the same way. And then when you eventually get to that point of no return, when you see a photo of you out with your mates and you put your arms around them and your top comes up and you go, holy shit, what is going on with me? You just slash your calories in a panic and starve yourself, which works to get the weight off and the fat off. You're only doing that to get away from the bulk that you've just failed. And now you're right back at the start after 1 failed bulk and 1 failed cut because you haven't got the body that you want. But there's a very simple reason why that's happening that we're going to bring right back to the start now, is that you're not lean enough to start with. Because when you're not lean enough to start with, it's like just putting shit on top of shit. If you wanted to build a house, right, you wouldn't just go into a field full of fucking shit, full of grass, full of dirt and go, right, I'm going to build my house on that. Because if you put your house on top of a field full of shit, it's not going to have a strong foundation. You're just masking what's underneath it, which is going to rot away at the foundation, which is going to rot away at the house, and you're never going to build anything properly. Whereas when you are building the house, mate, you go into that field, you clear the shit, you dig it out, you get to hard ground, you put fucking MOT in, you put concrete in, you put all this foundation in that's a strong base to build up from. That's the same with your physique, mate. If you're just going to eat more calories, you're going to stop at Mackey's on the way home for a fucking McFlurry after you've already been out for 5 pints, you're just building fat on top of fat. And what's going to happen when you build fat on top of fat? You just get more fat. If you're starting to bulk at like 20% body fat, mate, the next 5% of body fat that you put on is going to take you from 20 to 25, you're going to look horrendous. Whereas if you started at 10, 12% body fat, if you went from 10, 12% to like 15, 17%, you're still going to look better. And then you're going to be able to bulk for longer because you want to maximize how long you can bulk for. That's why I've been bulking for 2 years with mini cuts in, mate. That's how I've been able to stay building more muscle, because I got lean after my photo shoot and managed to build muscle for a longer period of time. I will always say to a client, when we go into a diet, let's just push this diet as hard as we can and just get you as lean as we can so that we're lean as possible before starting the bulk. And realistically, the harder you push in a cut before your bulk, you get used to the discipline and the hardship and resilience that you need in a cut. for when you cut again after your bulk. You're gonna have to cut, right, and just till you feel firm, mate, okay? Until you don't fucking jiggle or feel the belly coming over when you're sitting down there. It's like, right, okay, now we're lean enough to push up. And the second thing you need to fix before you start on your next bulk, mate, get some baseline numbers of what you can do in the gym. Just see where your strength's at. Get used to writing down what you can do and then beating it. If you write down what you lift in week 1 of a program and then beat it in week 2, you have to have trained harder, because even if your training is like down here and where you can really train is there, and you progress lifts in week 2, you're closer. You close the gap towards where you can actually train hard. Because in order to build muscle in the bulk, right, you need to make your muscles do more. The only way you can possibly know if your muscles do more is if you write it down, because you're not going to come into the gym and just remember everything. There's people in the gym now around me that are training, they're not writing anything down, and I just got their guessing, and that's why they don't look great. Because when you don't logbook, you just come in, you just jump on whatever machines feel all right, you stop your set too early because you don't know what set, reps, and fucking weight you need to aim for. You're naturally going to shy away from pushing harder than you need to be because you've got nothing to go off and training doesn't feel nice. Whereas if you come in and you visibly look at this logbook and you go, this is what I've done last week, I need to do more. Not only do you actually do more and progressively overload, but you have the visual progress to sort of go, well, I know that I'm going the right direction. If you're just eating the surplus of calories without making your muscles progressively load and do more, all those extra calories are just going to go to storing more body fat. Whereas if you have that logbook and you can make sure that you're beating it week by week, then you know you're doing more, and you know in yourself that you're giving your muscles more work to do, so that the surplus of food that you've got goes towards building muscle, which stops you from getting fat. Every failed bulk I went on, mate, the one thing that was apparent through the whole thing was I just didn't logbook. I did not know what I was doing in the gym. I would just come in and guess. I'd think, even though I'm training 6 times a week, even though I'm following the program that I've downloaded off bodybuilding.com, even though I'm putting my effort into the gym, even though it felt a little bit difficult because I was there so often, I wasn't logbooking and beating it. It doesn't matter how many times I came, it doesn't matter what exercise I did, it doesn't matter anything I did in the gym, I wasn't putting my muscles through the one principle they need to get bigger, which is progressive overload. And the logbook is the best way to progressively overload. There's no two ways about it. I will not let a client go into a bulk. I will not let a client walk into the gym without logbooking it, because I don't know their training's working. So that's it, mate. The two things that you must fix before you go into your bulk: get lean enough before you start, and start logbooking. Because if you do those two things, mate, I can guarantee you that you're not going to get fat on your next bulk, because you haven't got the room to get fat because you're lean, and all the extra food that you eat is going to be put towards your muscles because you're progressively overloading the gym, and you're giving your body a reason to store that food towards building muscle rather than just doing nothing and just moving through the motions, just storing it as fat. And the shredded without skinny calculator is going to fix the getting lean part for you by a simple click of the link in the description, putting in a few details on the sheet and getting all the numbers that you need to get lean enough for your bulk that I would use and set for my clients who get fucking mega results like this, okay? And if you're looking for a bit of inspiration of how I got lean enough to do a photo shoot, which actually set me up for this bulk, which was the best ever, you can just go and check out this video that I did on the 4 meals that I ate to lose 50 pounds and get into photo shoot shape. That alongside your new cutting calories, you'll be away, mate. Hit subscribe, get the shredded without skinny calculator in my description, and go see that video.